Hi, my name is Dee. I'm a compulsive overeater. I eat 3 weighed and measured meals a day off of the GreySheet with nothing in between but coffee, tea, or diet soda. And I don't eat no matter what. And I'm looking at the screen, and I used to be the fattest person in the room. Now I'm just the oldest person in the room. And it's okay. It's okay. It's better than being the fattest person. And when I was thinking about sharing this morning, what the thought came to me that all of you young people will know that you can do GreySheet for a long time. You can grow old with GreySheet and be healthy and active. And, I have a daughter who tells me, Mom, you're old, but you're not elderly. And I love that. I love that. So how did I get here? I am the daughter of immigrants. My parents were from the Madeira Islands, and I am one of 7 children. And I was born, get ready for this, in 1940. And it was just before the war when there was food rationing. And so my early days were eating only good, healthy food, no snacks, very little sugar. I was not born a compulsive overeater. I know many of us are, but I wasn't. I had a great childhood. We were poor, but I didn't know that. I was well clothed, well fed, well housed, and everything was great. And then I got into high school, and I got in with a group of friends. We were all short, 5'2" and under, and I was the fat one in the group. I weighed 115 pounds, but they considered me the fat one in the group. And so that is when my head took off into diet mode. All I could think about was, oh my God, I'm fat, I need to lose weight. And I started dieting at 115 pounds. I know now that it's my body shape. There's nothing I can do. I will never weigh 100 pounds. But I managed to diet my way from 115 pounds to 215 pounds. And as somebody who wasn't a compulsive overeater, I certainly became one pretty quickly. I became an addict. And I have a personality that is addictive. I can become addicted to anything. And believe me, I do. I have more books that I can read, more yarn than I can knit. My food stockpile, it's all abstinent, it's all GreySheet. You know what? We may have a tornado tomorrow, and I have enough food to get me through weeks. But anyway, so the dieting started in high school, and it was my head that was making me crazy. I went on to college, dieted through college years, and back then, who you were was determined by how you looked. Didn't matter how smart you were, it was how you looked. And I can remember one of my college mates, a good friend, was told that if she didn't lose weight, she couldn't get her teaching credentials. And that's the way it was back in those days. Today, that wouldn't happen, but yeah, it was that way. So I graduated from college, went on to teach. I was teaching, I was going to grad school, I was traveling, and my weight never got maybe more than 10 pounds over what I should have been. I got married, got pregnant, and I was one of those lucky ones. I only gained 8 pounds during that pregnancy because my doctor told me, I think I started at 130, and my doctor, my obstetrician said, you need to diet through this pregnancy. You're too heavy. So I back in the dark ages. So I gained 8 pounds, delivered a set of twins, and came home from the hospital thinner than when I had started. And that first year with the twins was hectic, so I didn't gain weight, but I had never stayed at home for any length of time. I had always been busy and active. And here I was with two babies. My husband was an airline pilot, so he was gone most of the time, well, at least half of the time, which is why we were able to celebrate 50 years of marriage, because he was gone half of the time. But the weight started coming on then, and I started trying everything, you know, Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Diet Center, Woman's Weight Loss. But 5 years later, I became pregnant with my third daughter. And by then I weighed 175 pounds. And that was like after 5 years of dieting. And I only gained 12 pounds during that pregnancy, but it didn't come off. It didn't come off. And I wish I could tell you I was a happy fat person. I was not. I was miserable. On the outside, my life looked great. I had everything that I wanted, a whole beautiful home, a husband, children, everything. But inside, I was miserable. I hated myself. I hated who I had become. My ego took a nosedive. I just thought I was horrendous. I could travel anywhere on my husband's airline for free, but I wouldn't get on a plane because I didn't want anybody to know that I was his wife, and this is the way I looked. So I really hated myself. And lots of things happened. I can remember going into a store that we frequented, and the store owner asked me when the baby was due. Well, I wasn't pregnant. And so those years for me were horrendous. And somehow I found my way to the OA rooms. I had seen someone on TV talking about it. Went into the OA rooms just for a couple of months before I found out about GreySheet. And I wish I could tell you that I got struck abstinence. I did not. I lied. I cheated. I would call my sponsor and would not tell her that I had picked up. And I would go on for 3 or 4 days. And then I would finally say, well, I guess I have to start counting days again. And so I did not get abstinent for, I think, 5 months at GreySheet. And I'll never forget that last night where my husband and I went to dinner with some neighbors, and it was a new restaurant, and they didn't have a liquor license, so they brought a bottle of liquor to the table. And I took a drink, and the more I drank, the more I ate. And by the end of that meal, I was totally devastated because I didn't know what else to do. I knew that for me, this was the absolute bottom, that I was either going to get onto this GreySheet and do it as it was written, or I was going to weigh over 215 pounds for the rest of my life. And so I left that restaurant and went to a GreySheet meeting. And in Connecticut back then, we had at least 5 or 6 in-person GreySheet meetings. And for the first time in my life, I told those people what I did with my food. I told them that I had been lying, that I had been cheating, because I knew how to diet. I had done all of those diets. But in all of that time, nobody ever told me that I had an addiction. And those diets worked until they stopped working. And once they stopped, all of the weight would come back on. And in the GreySheet rooms, they said, you have an addiction. This is not going to go away. And you just need to do it one day at a time. So at that meeting, they told me what I needed to do. And they said, the first thing you need to do is call your sponsor and tell her what you've been doing, how you have been lying to her. That was the hardest phone call I have ever had to make. And I got honest with her. She said, I will continue to sponsor you if you are truthful with me. And I said, okay, I can do that. And I said, I'm going to start the GreySheet tomorrow. And she said, wait a minute, why not today? I said, because I'm going to a party. And she said, no. If you're going to do the GreySheet, you're going to start it today. And it was not easy. January 4th, 1986. It was not easy. I had a problem with weighing and measuring in public. I really, really did. And you know what? If I could have gotten under the table to weigh and measure my food in a restaurant, I would have done that. But I persevered. It wasn't always fun, but it was doable. And my life started to change then. And that first year I lost 95 pounds. And it was just a blessing. I became a different person. And I decided, 1 minute, okay. I decided that I could do this a little bit longer. I would stay for at least a year. And then I said, well, you know what? I'll do this until I'm 60, because then I won't care anymore. But that was a few years ago. Today, I'm 82. I weigh and measure my meals. I live alone. I travel. I volunteer. I go to an exercise class. I do a yoga class. I walk my dog. And lots of no matter what's when you get to my age. But you know what? I get through those no matter what's. I don't eat no matter what. And I just want to say to all of you young faces, keep on doing it. You can be healthy and active years from now. So thank you.